Welcome to a deeper conversation. In this conversation about acceptance, this woman shared something that I kept thinking about: the loss of her daughter and the role her faith played in accepting something no parent would ever choose. But there was so much more I wanted to understand. What happened? What did acceptance look like in the middle of that kind of loss? And did the faith that helped her through it change the way she faced the other challenges that came later? So I invited her back for a deeper conversation. Where is acceptance still hard for you?
So to me now, accepting that not everyone's going to like you, accepting you've got long-term friendships and something happens and it's over. Is it sad? It's really sad after 20 years of friendship, because death is a finale. Who knows with friendships? Is it a finale? Now we have a new baby in our family. It's like, is that going to bring people back together? Who knows? But it's just accepting, hey, that's how it is, but can it change? I'm optimistic, and so I always think it can change. And it's hard to accept that you're never going to see that person again or have a relationship with that person again. That is the part that you always go, I accept it. And then you go, do what? You don't know if you accept it. Not accepting anything that my kids do.
Mm-hmm.
You may not like it, but would I cut that off?
Have you had to learn that?
Yes, with Amanda doing drugs, I had to cut her off.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, until you can be part of our family, that was an acceptance that was really hard. Hey, she's getting high. I can't fix that.
Yeah.
I went to rehab. But yeah, we went through a whole thing. Even with Jim and I, it was him not accepting it and me going, we can't live like this.
Well, the thing is, you're both, it sounds like, trying to be authentic to yourself.
Right.
I mean, I don't think anyone's answer is the same, is going to work across the board.
So, when our kids are little, I would say, this is how daddy does it. He gives you a bath. This is how mommy gives you a bath.
And so get used to both.
So the word acceptance, you have to accept that your dad does it different than I do, and neither one is right or wrong.
I love that. If you said that to your kids,
Yeah.
That's really what it is. There's not a right or wrong. It's just what is.
That's how he does it.
Pam showed me how many different forms acceptance can take, but I still wanted to understand more about the experience that shaped this word so deeply for her.
How did you learn acceptance with your daughter that passed away?
I really, really think my faith. I mean, I had friends who said, well, did you have an autopsy? Don't you want to know? To me, it was like, did I want to know specifics? It was like, she's gone. So what is an autopsy going to tell me? That's not going to help me.
Well, she had health issues, right?
Right.
What did you know?
I did find out afterwards she went septic. She got an infection in her central line. So all her organs shut down. But how I looked at it to accept it is that here she is, 12 years old. She would have eventually had to have a heart and a lung transplant. And would that have only happened once, or would she have had to have multiple?
What did she have originally?
It was primary pulmonary hypertension.
Okay.
The disease that she had, there was one other little girl here in Utah that had the same thing. And so her mom and I would message each other. We never met each other, but we would message, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? They had to do a central line. They had to learn how to mix her medicine, to keep it refrigerated. It was over $100,000 a year for this medication. And so it was like, okay, so we accepted. I mean, there are so many things. She couldn't go swimming because she had a central line. Well, we have a pool at the condo. It's hot. What do we do? Okay, you can play in the hose,
Yeah.
But we went to a scuba diving place. And they were going to make her a wetsuit so that she could go in the pool. But they came to Caitlin's memorial service. Isn't that interesting?
It's such a hard time to remember everything.
I had such brief contact with them, and they felt terrible that they didn't get it accomplished. But it was like, it's okay. when she got so sick because she couldn't keep food down and knew something was off. So when we went to primaries, they sent us back over to Denver.
So how long were you over in Denver?
I want to say 2 weeks. Jim was over there. They were diagnosing her, trying to figure out. I mean, when she went over there, it was like, this is what we think. They didn't even know for sure. So how my acceptance really came after she did pass away was because I knew her life would be really tough. And I think God took her away from that. She didn't deserve that. So to have a life like that. So it was like, it's been over 20 years. Your emotions still come up. You accept things. It's okay to be sad. Or if it's reminiscing, I don't know.
That's all of it.
Right. So, but we talked with Iris about Caitlin. This is your auntie. Your heavenly auntie. We have pictures, around the house of her.
You still feel her with you?
Not really. I see pictures of her. Times that it really comes out is like at Christmas time. So they made ornaments that have her name on it that she wrote. So yes, I guess a connection like that. But I still think not as much as Jim. But he was there and she took her last breath. I wasn't.
Was it at home?
I had Amanda out of school. It was just so bizarre how it all went down. Amanda out of school that day to go get her haircut, and then we were going to go up to the hospital. And her haircut, get the phone call. She's dying. Don't drive. Get someone to drive you. You cannot drive. I mean, this is a doctor.
Was it expected?
I think we had known early enough. It probably could have given her medication to get rid of the sepsis. But again, her life would have been very difficult.
Forever,
right. She would have been on anti-rejection medication. It's not easy for people who get transplants and stuff. It is not an easy life. And for her to be 12 and starting that route, who knows? I just think that's how it had to be. So people think they plan stuff out. They don't.
There's orchestrating underneath.
I honestly believe that. Some people don't. And so that's why it's just funny the way paths go. If you really stop and think about it, that happens a lot more in your life than people think about.
Well, sometimes I think the credit goes to ourselves. When things go good and then the suffering is blamed.
Right.
Where we have a part in it, but we don't have control.
Right. So that's why going back to the word is like acceptance is you have to accept what comes your way. It's how you choose to deal with it.
Growth and dealing with the next things that you're going to have to accept because you've had a lot of challenges since then.
And you can stop living. And some people, I knew a lady who lost her daughter. We met her at a Keller Williams convention. And so we had similar stories, and so we kind of bonded. But her daughter had died like probably 10 years before Caitlin did. And I was just amazed that she didn't progress past poor me. I lost a daughter, but I didn't want to be that way.
Maybe that helped you. Maybe you're going to help somebody who's dealing with trying to accept their situation.
I mean, we still have, God gives us a life, to live. We have so many blessings. We really, really do. But how often do we stop and think about how thankful we are?
Gratitude can bridge a lot of things.
Oh, gosh. I feel like I've accepted her death.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, how could I always wondered, when am I going to be able to laugh again? When am I not going to be so sad?
So how long did that take?
Do you know? I mean, it's really hard. You can't really put a finger.
That's what I think. Because time's weird that way.
But it's just like, I remember, and it was probably after a year, you just kind of function.
Survive.
Right. Get up, take Amanda to school. But I remember her saying to me, and I probably already told you this, her just saying to me, you cooked. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have I been What if we've been eating for a year? And it was like such a shock to me that I had to look back and go, what did we eat? Did we eat box stuff? Did we go out to eat? Did we eat McDonald's every day? What did we eat?
Yeah.
But that sticks with me. Mom, you cooked. And then it just kind of woke me up from there going, okay, that was sad for you to say something like that. It was like, okay.
And it had been at least a year.
I think at least a year. And then, I mean, it still was sad. Like people don't know what to say, you know, when you have such a catastrophic loss. People can't relate, which thank God they can't. But it was like, they don't know what to say. So it's like, it's okay. You know, yes, thank you for thinking of me. I'm so sorry for your loss. And it's like, I did not want to hear that. Thank you for thinking of me. That's what I would say to them. The one thing I still struggle with, though, is how many kids do you have? So I need to learn how to answer that, you know. I have 2 ones in heaven, but then that starts a whole conversation that with this person, I'm not ready to share that with them.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm pretty open.
Mm-hmm. So what do you say to people when they've lost someone?
I just say, I just can't even imagine, because usually it's a spouse, and I can't imagine. You know, it's just can't even imagine. If you need anything at all, just let me know. And I'm serious, let me know. If you need me to bring you a meal, I'll bring you a meal.
Yeah.
If you need me to come sit on your couch, I'll come sit on your couch. So it's like, I try not to say I'm so sorry for your loss, because
You didn't like it.
Isn't that weird?
No, we all have, some people might like it.
Right.
And they're not wrong. You know, everyone has their own acceptance process.
Right. It is true. But to hear that I'm sorry, it right away would make me cry.
And you were in a place where you accepted people not knowing what to say too.
Yeah.
We don't know. Everyone needs something different.
Right. People who truly had empathy and people who could be sorry for there. I mean, there is a difference between sympathy and empathy. I feel fortunate that I can be empathetic because it helps me relate to a lot of people.
Is there anything you're still learning to accept? And where else is acceptance showing up for you?
Which, you know, acceptance has shown up with Amanda. And now I look at her and go, oh my gosh, it's like those 5 years.
Where you kind of had to let her go.
Yes, but she was so young, you know, so it was a part of it. We had to be there, you know.
How did you balance that?
We really couldn't. I mean, Jim and I fought a lot. It was terrible. I mean, I moved out for a month and lived at Jill's house for a month. It was like, I can't be in this house. I cannot do it and survive.
How did you guys come to a common ground?
Got her into rehab. I had clients that I was working with. So I found out he was a therapist and was involved in running a woman's addiction house. So I called and I said, I have a daughter that is in jail right now, and I need to get her into rehab. He said, we have government funding that is going to be running out. This was in the beginning of December. We have government funding that will pay for her to go to this rehab place. It runs out the end of December. Can you get her here? And so I called her PO and said, I've got a connection for a rehab center for her, for mother and child, because I was just one.
Okay.
At that time when we were taking care of her. But it was interesting because the therapy that she went through, there were 3 couches with a few girls on each of the couches. And the therapist said, one of these couches will be empty due to death. Sure shit.
It
Was sad because we had gone to memorials and
had to be eye-opener for her too.
it cemented into her even more. But it happened after she was out. She was really afraid getting out because then you have to face reality. So that whole thing, it was like, you can do that. Amanda was really fortunate because she had a job lined up. Where she worked said, when you're clean, come back.
Oh, I have support from you and Jen.
Yes. And so all Amanda's good friends came back. You know, they disappeared for a while because they were too young to handle. It's hard enough for an adult. So I would tell her friends, you know what, you got to do what you got to do for your own survival. You can't feel guilty. Jim and I can't handle it. How can you, being younger, help her? You've got to protect you. You know what? When she's clean, you can come back. And that's what happened. Her true friends are still there.
How long was she there?
She was there for 3 months, and she was just staring ready. I don't know if I'm ready. And I go, you can do this. You got this. We can put you in therapy if you need to go to therapy. We got you. And she never really did go back to therapy, but she did read a lot of books for self-help. Here she is today, doing phenomenal.
Did she help with that area in any way for other addicts?
She kept in touch with a few of the girls that got out as well.
Well, she has a whole different life now.
There are people sometimes that stand out in front of grocery stores, and Amanda gives to that organization, and it's to help teens.
Okay,
Like homeless teens or something like that. And she tells them her story. So in that way, if she bumps into it, then she does.
And Iris.
And Iris, too. She's good with Iris. She reasons with Iris. She does. It's phenomenal.
I wanted to thank you for sharing.
I'm thankful because it's therapeutic. That's how I felt with my friends. I never went and saw a therapist, but my friends were my therapists. Truly. They let me talk.
Yes. Talk therapy with friends.
Yes.
On vacations.
Right.
What I appreciated most about this conversation was realizing that acceptance isn't something we figure out once and then we're done with it. Her faith has helped her through some incredibly difficult things in her life. But that doesn't mean acceptance always comes easily or that everything gets wrapped up with a peaceful ending. Maybe that's what I'm learning about acceptance. We can find peace with something we never thought we could and still struggle with something else. We can accept what is and still feel sad about it. And maybe acceptance isn't about getting to a place where nothing hurts anymore. It's learning how to live with what is while still making room for everything we feel. Thank you for trusting me with your story. And thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious about acceptance, keep wondering, and keep exploring the words that shape your world.